But we said we were going to hit the skins. There's a big game. I did put up the Junkies poll of the day, presented by Scotty's Vodka, Maryland-made, super smooth, loved throughout the DMV. Who wins on Sunday? It's a simple one. What's your early vibe, Cakes, as to the listeners of the show? Commanders, Titans.
I'm going to say the listeners think the losing streak ends, but not by an overwhelming majority. I mean, confidence has to be eroded at this point. I'm going to say 62% are picking a Commanders win.
You can vote at Junks Radio on Twitter. 69% right now coming in voting for the Commanders to win on Sunday.
Okay, nearly 70%. Higher
Hit
than I would
skins.
think.
Brought to you by Don't Sleep Energy. You need to hit the skins right now. Grab a Don't Sleep Energy shot. Need to stay ready all day just in case. Sip on a refreshing 12-ounce can. Grab both right now at don'tsleepenergy.com. Use the promo code Junkies. You get 10% off. Remember, don't sleep. Makes you great.
Cakes, I have a little trivia question for you.
I will try my best to answer it.
Do you know what former skin coach is an assistant? He's a former assistant here.
Yeah.
With the Titans.
I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
Oh, you do?
I'm pretty sure it's the guy who took over on an interim basis, and all he wanted to do was run the ball relentlessly and play in 2 hour and 40-minute games.
You got it.
Bill Callahan.
Bill Callahan is the offensive line coach. I actually thought he was out of the NFL. Wasn't he coaching in college for a year or two or something? I thought.
I'd have to look at
I'm
his
just so wrong.
coaching chronology.
But he was the assistant after Jay was fired, and he was 3-8 down the stretch, if you remember that.
Yep. That was some ugly football. That's what I do remember.
No, I guess he coached with his son in Cleveland, Brian Callahan, for 4 years. So is Brian Callahan now the guy that's the coach of Tennessee?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, he went along with him. I didn't realize that. So here's an interesting nugget about Tennessee, and maybe I'm calling shenanigans on this incredible defense. They're number 2 in total defense, Cakes, right? You've seen this quirky stat.
Yes, correct.
But they're 27th in scoring defense.
That's because Will Levis has thrown pick sixes, and opposing teams have also scored punt return and or kick returns against them. I believe that's the reason for it.
But isn't it also because because they have short fields against them, so they may not give a lot of yards,
right?
But because of the interceptions,
I think it's a combination because the points scored on the pick sixes somehow count against the defense.
Right, because that shouldn't, in theory, count against the defense because the defense didn't give it up.
Right.
But I think it also speaks to, so maybe their whole total defense number 2 thing is a fraud. Like,
could be.
They're they're playing on short fields all the time. And so, of course, they're not going to give up a ton of yards. There's not a lot of yards to give up.
I mean, they just gave up 27 points to the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans in that game.
Did they have a pick six?
No, the Houston Texans, though, in that game.
They won that game.
Yes. So they gave up 27 points. There was a pick six. The Houston Texans, though, only tallied 260 yards. C.J. Stroud had 2 interceptions in that game. Joe Mixon, who was coming off a monster game against the Cowboys, was held to 22 yards. So I think there's something to that Titans defense.
And they also have a guy that most people have never heard of anchoring in the middle playing nose tackle, and he is just a gigantic human being named Tavondre Sweat. He goes 6'4", and he's listed at 366, but I think he tips the scales like 375, 380.
Wow.
He's just a gigantic human being.
That's such a great sports name.
And run stuffer.
They're not related to Montez at all?
Tavondre Sweat.
I mean, Sweat is such a great
Sweat's a really
name.
good sports name.
It's
You're right.
Great
It's a good
sports
one.
name. I wish I was Eric Sweat. I would be a beast. I'm not kidding.
You'd have been a different athlete if your last name was Sweat.
What about Tavondre? It's just Tavondre Bickle.
I probably would have been better there too. But
too bad you look like Eric Limp.
I'm walking around a little better. I think part of the reason why I've been limping around so much because I've been so dehydrated. My muscles are they're dehydrated.
Well, you better just guzzle more water.
I've been pounding water. Pounding.
Good.
I also went a full day yesterday, just so you know. My only sugar was in my creamer.
Solid.
I can't do the black coffee. I tried that. You guys know I tried that. It's awful. Didn't have no cupcakes yesterday.
Hey, good luck with the no sugar thing for Thanksgiving.
Well, no, of course I'll eat there.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing
That
is ever
sugar-free
permanent.
pie is going to taste silly, Cakes.
Nothing's ever permanent, but maybe I could go 5 or 6 days a week.
Does Costco make sugar-free pies, JP?
Yeah. No
I don't know.
alcohol yesterday. 2 days in a row. I've been sober 2 days in a row.
Well, that streak's going to end too.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That'll be 3 days in a row. Pretty good. Pretty good around these parts.
So I get what you're saying about the Titans defense, because it is curious they give up all those points when they're ranked so high when it comes to defense. But I do think Cakes is right. Has to do with the pick sixes, which happened in this game. Has to do maybe with the short fields as well. Special teams comes into play. It's kind of a flawed stat. But then when you look at like how many yards per game they're giving up on the ground, how many yards per game they're giving up in the air, it's pretty low.
But again, if you have short fields, you don't give up a lot of yards.
Well, you can also do it by carry.
Right. So that's how I would rather evaluate it. Evaluate it by carry, per possession, whatever it is. Do that. Do it per carry,
By the way, also,
per pass.
people are sleeping on the fact, big revenge game brewing for one Jeremy McNichols. Because he should play a big role for the Commanders this weekend, because there's no chance Austin Eckler's going to play after that concussion.
Mhm.
And we just talked to Brian Robinson yesterday. I'd be pretty doubtful that he's going to play this weekend. Maybe he plays, but I think McNichols has a big role, and obviously part of the reason they brought up Chris Rodriguez. McNichols played with the Titans a few years back.
Well,
The last 4 weeks, the thing that maybe Washington has to worry about is the last 4 weeks, Will Levis has actually been pretty good. Quarterback
He's been
rating
better.
in the last 4 weeks is 109.3, 5 touchdowns to 2 picks.
EB, you sleep on this guy too. His name is Nick Westbrook Akine, a wide receiver for the Titans.
Yeah.
He's scored touchdowns in 6 of the last 7 games. He's just a touchdown threat.
All right.
Will Levis looks for that dude all the time.
The guy that I'm more scared of is Tony Pollard. Okay. He's rushed for 800 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's 7th in the NFL in yardage. We've obviously struggled against the run. I can't wait to see how the team reacts. This is real adversity for the first time. I kind of feel like all of us, and that the team included, kind of felt like they would never say this, but okay, we lost the Steelers, a pretty good team. We lost the Eagles, pretty good team. We were fighting. We were there. That loss last week to the Cowboys, let's be honest, downright humiliating. Sorry, Cowboy fans. You guys get scoreboard, and you can mock me and everything else, but it's humiliating to lose to a team of your caliber.
Also,
humiliating.
in the last 5 games, I believe this coincides directly with DeAndre Hopkins getting dealt. These are Calvin Ridley's game logs. 10 catches for 143, 5 for 73, 5 for 84, 4 for 58, 5 for 93. That dude is involved in the offense now.
I can't wait to see like how Joe Witt and that defense, how they respond. I felt like they were way too passive against Cooper Rush. And then offensively, you want to talk about Cliff finding his bag. That dude, he better have.
Now's the week for it.
You better have found it.
Yeah.
Better go into that chick's house, wherever it was, pick it up, and
Scoop it up.
bring it to the game.